NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in freefall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, and one that I've been waiting to have for a while now. Please, who the fuck are you, and what do you do?
What's up? My name is Robin Jandle. I am a professional skydiver, advanced skydiver as far as like doing like free fall stuff and canopy. I work for Superior Flight Solutions. I'm at Paraclete XP now, so which is I've been here for about like 2 years. So I'm running like helping like run like the school, do like courses as far as like normal like canopy courses as far as like civilian, and like help with like military stuff as well. So busy.
You are one of the busiest working skydivers I've ever talked to.
It's busy.
I mean,
it's busy.
We talk pre-podcast. It can be difficult sometimes with schedules to try and align to do stuff like the podcast, but it's not even just that. It's every time I look, I see you're at another event or have another thing going or traveling somewhere else. I mean, holy shit.
I know when you're just like, what do you do? That I had to like really think about. I'm like, what is everything that I'm doing right now? I'm like managing the school. I'm like doing courses, like competing, like contracts. Yeah,
Crazy, right?
it's a lot. Trying to, yeah, for sure.
It's like the skydiving life, but it's all mixed in with grown-up shit,
It's a lot of grown up shit. It's crazy.
right? So
I like it though. It's good.
before we get into too much of the grown-up shit, how did it all start for you? I mean, was it a skydiving thing, or did you start out with other extreme sports or so-called extreme sports?
So when I first started skydiving, I kind of laugh about this. I moved to Hawaii when I was like 18. And so I like lived in Hawaii basically, I feel like most of my life, right? So from there, like I actually used to work for a company called Nordstrom, and I was like a manager there when I was 18. They like moved me to Hawaii, opened up a store there, and then I met some like friends, like close friends who were like, hey, like maybe you should go like do a tandem up at Skydive Hawaii. And I was like, absolutely not doing that, not my thing. And then lo and behold, like we all went out for like Cinco de Mayo. And the next day they're like, I just remember just like driving up to the North Shore with like all my friends, and they're just like, you're gonna do a tandem. Did a tandem. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I liked it, and then ended up doing like another one, and then I ended up proceeding to like just like how it normally begins, like going through AFF, all that stuff. And then yeah, man, I just like started like really like immersing myself, and then like being in the North Shore of Hawaii was just awesome. So I was like,
Sure.
okay, I love this place. It's beautiful. Like, and you could just definitely like rack up a bunch of jumps. So I just started like flying video. And then from then, like I was just doing like 1,000 jumps a year until basically like I left.
Wow. Well, now,
Crazy.
so you moved to the North Shore, or you moved to Hawaii at 18 years old,
Yeah.
for a job with Nordstrom,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I was like 18. They're like, do you want to go to Massachusetts or do you want to go to Hawaii? And I was like, I think I'm gonna go to Hawaii.
Yeah, not a tough question. Now,
That
where
was
did
an
you
easy
come?
one.
Where did you come go to Hawaii from?
Southern California. So like Chino Hills, like Chino area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, was there a plan for what you were going to be when you grew up before skydiving came into the mix, or you were just kind of
Business
figuring it out?
management.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that
I was trying
something
to
that
like, yeah,
did it
what's up?
appeal to you?
Uh, I mean, at the time it was cool. Like I wanted to like progress in that. And then for Nordstrom, like I was actually like a watch buyer. Like I wanted to like become a watch buyer. So I was like in that business. So like, okay, like if you open up the store in Hawaii, we'll move to Seattle. From there, like you can even like have the chance of like moving to Switzerland and like doing like work out there for us. And I was like,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah.
I
Very
mean,
different
that's
lifestyle.
yeah, that's pretty cool too, though. I mean, that's still a unique take on something to do for a living. I mean, the
Yeah.
watch industry is pretty fucking intense.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Wow.
yeah, I was getting into that. And then from there, like the store actually really didn't do all that great in Hawaii. Surprise. And then when I started jumping, I was like, okay, maybe I can make a career out of this.
So,
We'll see.
what did the family think first off when you took a job at 18 in Hawaii? And
Oh,
then what did
wow.
they think when you started jumping out of airplanes?
They were not happy. So
With which one?
but the thing, like everything, like for me, like my mom was just like, you're leaving the house at 18 years old and then going to Hawaii, which is like, you know, not close at the time. Like it's like a 5-hour flight from LA. And for her, it was just like my family was just like distraught. Like, but they were like, okay, like if you're, moving towards this and like trying to progress your career, that we understand and it's awesome. But then like after I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is working out. So I started skydiving. They were just like, what? They were pissed.
I
And
mean,
they're just like, and they just didn't understand the concept. I was like, yeah, it's nice out here. Like I think for a long time they just thought I lived like in like a hut or something, like just a concept until they actually went out to Hawaii. The first time they're like, oh, you live in like a really nice apartment. And it's like, yeah, there's civilization here, right? Like
it's kind of funny because with a lot of skydivers, living in a hut's not too far from exactly what they
yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
So, how long did you work for Nordstrom and work on your jumping career?
So I mean, when I was working with Nordstrom, I mean, I was probably with them until I was like 25. And
So it was a
then
good run with the company.
it was a good run. Yeah, for sure. It was good. Like I got paid super well and I liked it. It was fun, but I was like, I kind of like being outside now. And like,
Sure,
I think the transition was super cool. And then I just like started making a ton of money, like flying video.
sure.
And I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep staying the course and just keep doing this.
All right.
But then at the time, like as I started like getting into like flying video and everything, I had like started to like kind of dance around the idea of like becoming like a pilot. So I was like trying to do both at the same time, and I was
Wow.
like, oh, this is too much money. I can't do that.
Yeah. Are you kidding? Getting yourself invested in the cheapest sport in the world, of course, is skydiving.
Totally.
And then becoming a pilot?
Yeah. I did like a few hours and I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah. I was very lucky in that when I started flying again, I was jumping at Cross Keys and had a decent deal for the flight school that was there. And then as soon as I had my license, John Eddowes had me flying back and forth to Sussex, shuttling gear and people around. So the hours came pretty quick. Otherwise, no way. No way.
No. There's a lot of money. I'm going through it again. So I'm just like, oh, here we go.
For sure. Now, how was learning how to skydive in Hawaii? It can be a pretty challenging place.
It was pretty wild.
It had
I
to
just
be.
remember like on like the first jump there, I was just like looking out and I was like, I don't have no idea where I'm at. It's like super windy and like cloudy. And I was like, okay, I think I'm getting the gist of this. But like, yeah, I'm super grateful because I think at the time there was like a lot of like really talented people who were working there. Like I had like Gage was there, and like JC had just left like recently after like I was there. Like there's tons of people, like the people who like taught me how to skydive, like definitely like helped out with a lot of like the stuff there. And it's like, it's crazy.
Sure.
It's just, I look at it now, I'm just like, man, that was wild. It was windy and like.
I'll tell you what, though, I mean, it gives you some chops right away, though, doesn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, it was the same for me because I started out in Las Vegas. That was notorious for high winds and dust devils, and
it's gnarly there too.
Yeah, you travel to other places and you're like, you guys are fucking pussies. You're not jumping. It's only 25 out. What are you doing?
You guys are soft.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing, because I had a couple of friends that have gone through Hawaii. A good buddy of mine named Kevin Love was out there for quite some time, and I heard all the stories about, only the best of the best were getting hired to work out there because it was so challenging. So I can imagine coming up as a student and then a baby skydiver must have been hardcore.
It was interesting. I was actually just telling this to one of my students because they were doing like their first hop and pop. And I was like, man, I remember my first hop and pop. It was like 3,500 feet, like out to sea. Like I look out and I'm just like, why am I like so far away from the shore? like little things like that. And I'm just like, you guys have it easy right now.
Yeah. Well, that kind of stuff takes some time to wrap your head around and to trust that the wind reports that you've gotten and that everybody else is right when you're literally getting, out of the airplane 2 miles offshore.
I'm like, why am I here right now?
Right. I mean, that's gotta be freaky learning how. I mean, all I had to deal with was wind in a dry lake bed. So I knew I was going to land on dirt. Did you ever did you get wet trying to learn or no, really?
No.
Did they dunk many people out there?
I mean, if the winds are strong, we'll get out to sea a little bit, but I mean, they're pretty good as far as like spotting and stuff like that. So
they're not going to try to
put us there. Yeah. We would hope after all these years of being operating, but no, I don't think anybody's really gone on the ocean. Not that I remember. I think maybe some fun jumpers might have done some wild things like,
sure.
But like it's gotta have a why. Like we didn't really have many fun jumpers at the end of it all. Like
I
think I was probably like one of the last few people to actually get licensed there. And then we only just ended up being like just doing tandems and stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've I put more than a couple of people into the water flying for Dubai all the years that I did, but that's just because they were doing dumb shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Which
is expected. I know, dude. It's like I've actually never jumped to Dubai, but I can imagine like some people go to the drink often.
Yeah, they get a little carried away with checking out the view and all those high rises are right there. And it's really easy to get fixated on the wrong thing and go, oh shit, I'm not going to make it. And then not go to the right beach. And I've had a couple of wingsuiters go in the water too. And that's just because they flew too damn far in the wrong direction.
Surprise.
Yeah, shit's gonna happen. So you learned how, and you decide you're gonna shoot video. What was the time frame? How long was that transition, and how did getting to the camera? I mean, that's a decision. I mean, when you finally decided to go that route.
Yeah, because I remember when I first learned there, and then I did the AFF stuff. I went back to the mainland only for like a short stint, and like I only had maybe like 50 jumps or something. So I remember like going back to the mainland and then Nordstrom asked if I could help be like an interim manager for like one of their stores in Vegas. So I was like doing that for a little bit, and then I was fairly miserable living in Vegas, and I was just like, dude, I'm just gonna get in too much trouble here. I need to leave immediately.
Yeah.
And so everybody back home was like, just come back to Hawaii, like start working like towards like wanting to be a videographer, and then like kind of go from there and see like how if you like it or not. And then got back home, started like doing a little bit of video and specking, and then like it didn't really take long before like they're like, okay, you're hired, we need you actually. So,
nice. So they were super open and welcoming.
yeah, for sure, especially for like people who had like worked there and like learned, especially. So they were like, okay, you learned here, you know what's up, like we'll hire you.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that, but learning in a place like that would absolutely give them more confidence when it comes time to making sure you know what's up shooting video. So you started shooting tandem videos and just kind of went from there? Yeah.
And then, I mean, dude, we were so busy there. Like it's so insane, like how many tandems Skydive Hawaii does like yearly there. And like back in the day more so, like I think like after COVID things kind of like tapered off a bit, but man, yeah, they were just like racking up numbers. Like, dude, we would just do I mean, at the time we had like probably 12 videographers.
Wow.
And like, dude, we would just be stacked like every single day, 7 days a week, like each person doing 10 jumps a day. And it was just like, it was such a necessity. And we had like a ton of Japanese customers, Korean, like a ton of tourists. So like every day, like 100 tandems, like especially for like a smaller drop zone.
Sure. Japanese tourists are amazing, aren't they?
They're the best, dude. They are so awesome.
My
Absolutely
God.
Fearless.
Fearless. I mean, to a degree that I never would have thought possible. Because if you put me in a country where I didn't speak the language and told me I was going to strap myself to another person and jump out of the airplane, fuck off. No way am I doing that shit. But not only did they do that, but they were always smiles and great tippers.
The best people. Like we loved jumping with them. They were super cool. Like we'd get like a big like group of like the tiny little Asian gals, and they were so hyped just to be there and like fearless, and they were just like so like respectable, and like they would just like tip us like all the time, and like they would always feel bad like, oh, I don't have maybe enough to I was like, you were awesome, don't even worry about it.
Our Vegas tour guide that would bring out all the Japanese tourists was getting kickbacks from the drop zone for bringing out the groups, and he would tell the groups that he was bringing out that it was really dishonorable to not tip the camera and tandem guys. So we'd forget to cash our paychecks because we were getting like 20 or 40 bucks from every student, 8 or 10 jumps a day.
Every time. Yeah, for sure. It's ridiculous, dude.
So good. It was so good. So, I mean, that must have been when you decided that skydiving was absolutely the way to go, and maybe selling or admiring watches was going to be a hobby.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. My family was just like, all right, like if it pays the bills and this is what you want to do, then pursue it. But like there needs to be like an end game. I was like, oh, okay. And then like 10 years later, I'm just still doing the same thing.
Yeah, but they must see how fulfilled you are from it.
Yeah. Like best years of my life, like being over there, just like doing it. And like I'm actually gonna go back to Hawaii here in like the next week to like see everybody and say hello, like say hello to the bosses. And yeah, I'm actually super stoked. Like
you really don't sit still, do you?
I don't think so. I'm busy.
Yeah. So you start shooting video, you start making good money, you decide that skydiving is for you. The family is starting to come around to it at least a little bit. But when did the idea of like competition and the whole diving all the way in, when did that start to come about?
Man, like 2014, I would say. Yeah, and it was actually it's funny because when I started flying at the same time of like learning to like jumping and everything, really good friend of mine, he's now not with us, Gage Gailey, the man. He's the one who like kind of got me into like kind of pushing me towards so like you should compete, whatever. And then I remember I had like money saved to like go for flight lessons, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take some flight lessons. And he's like, Robin, dude, I have something for you. It's called a Valkyrie. It just came out. You should buy one. And I'm like, let me see. And he's like, okay. He's like, just test it out and see if you want it. And then he's like, if you want to buy it, like I get you like an order one. Like got one or whatever. So I like did a couple of jumps and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Like just like spent like all the savings on a parachute. And I remember he's just like, okay, he's like, I'm gonna give you this, but like you need to prove to me that you're gonna do well with it. And like, you know, if I see you doing well, like you can just have it or whatever. So I jumped it a few times and I was like, I'll buy it, obviously. And then and from there we were just like, he's like, man, he's like, I think you should go compete. Like, I don't know, dude. I was like, it's expensive to like compete, to go out and do all these things. And at the time, I'm like, man, I don't know. I was like, I played soccer growing up. Like, I was like kind of competitive, but I was like, okay, maybe I'll just like go and see what's up if I like it. So he
Sure.
like finally, like he like found all these tickets and stuff. He's like, all right, we're gonna go to Paraclete XP. I was like, dude, where's that at? He's like, North Carolina. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to go to North Carolina. Like, I want to just, I was like, is there anywhere closer to go? And he's just like, no. He's like, this is where US Nationals is going to be this year. It was like June 2015. He's like, all right, we're going to go. He's like, trust me. He's like, you're going to absolutely love it. It's going to be super fun. And I remember just like looking at tickets and it was like $1,200. And it's like, I hate you, Gage, so much. So I booked a ticket. And then from there, it's like when I did like one first, like it was like the first like FLCPA before like the competition. And like I just met like so many wonderful and awesome rad people.
Yeah.
Like, just the first go at it, I was like, okay, I think I could, keep doing this. And then like nationals was like the next day after the competition for FLCPA, and I was like, all right, finished like middle of the pack the first time, and I think it's just the amount of fun I had doing it in the beginning, and I'm like, dude, I would love to just continue doing this, and it was a challenge, like. So I think from there, I was just kind of like, okay, I think I can like see myself like kind of going full force into it.
Was there a point where you sat down and you're like, all right, this is what being a competitive canopy pilot has to offer, and this is what it's going to take? And no matter who I've talked to with canopy pilots, they all say the same thing. What it takes is so much more than what it gives back monetarily or anything like that. What it gives is so much more from the people and all that, but you can't eat off of wonderful personalities. You have to make that decision, right? This is not only gonna just cost out the ass, but it's also fucking dangerous.
It's dangerous. And then I think my running joke that I would tell everybody is like, oh, they're like, did you win? Did you get a medal? I was like, yeah, man. I was like, third place, got dozens of dollars. They're just like sick.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like, it's like the running joke that I constantly am just like, yeah, man, like making tons of money off of it,
it's kind of funny too, because I mean, I just saw not that long ago, Kurt had put up a post about hitting a record number of medals and just the most incredible career, and 75% of me is the skydiver in me saying that's the most fucking amazing thing ever. That is incredibly kick-ass, and 25% is like, holy shit, that's a lot of work for nothing. But it's a
lot of work. But for this dude, like he's like, a lot of people see like how well he's doing, and like he's definitely a wealth of knowledge. Like he's got a lot of it down. And for that, like there's a lot of people who like seek his knowledge, and I think it's a cool thing. And like this dude pushes it for sure, and it's cool to see that.
Well, all you guys do, though. I mean, the moment that you saddle up to become a canopy pilot, in competition, you're definitely you're there. You're pushing it.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, it takes incredible dedication. Have you dealt with substantial injury and kept going? Has it been relatively injury free, or have you got your bumps and bruises?
I've definitely like done a distance run and being like, oh, that doesn't feel great. But it's like I've never had like a wild injury so far, knock on wood, right? But I remember like I rolled my ankle once, but then it's like kind of really it.
Well, I mean, I think canopy piloting is the first discipline in skydiving I've seen where people honestly do try and learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, you see something like okay, don't do that.
yes, and in a lot of people in skydiving, we gotta kind of fuck things up to learn those lessons. But in canopy piloting, that doesn't seem to be the case, at least not from my vantage point.
Man, yeah, I feel like there needs to be like a lot of finesse.
Yes.
More so than people think. They're like, oh yeah, it's such a power, like all this stuff. I was like, man, but you need to like have finesse to land and like finesse through the course, all this stuff. Like, dude, Cornelia, finesse.
Oh
like, 100%, dude. and you see her land, and she's just like not even like a speck of dirt on her. I'm like,
I know.
how are you not dirty? Like,
I know it. Well, especially when you guys are doing like the speed rounds and stuff or distance. In my mind, I mean, of course, in my mind, I've swooped like a madman and I'm doing, this little itty bitty little swoops, but I can't wrap my head around being like 3/4 of the way through a distance course, still carrying the speed you guys are carrying, not going, oh, I'm fucked.
I know that, and that's something that like I kind of like giggle about every once in a while. Because like at what was it, like the World Cup in Arizona, there was like a point where like we're rolling out and I was like, ooh, I'm kind of tight, like on the gates. It's like, and I was like, I'm gonna hopefully have some finesse on this. And I remember just like kind of like just a hair skipping, and I was like, yeah, I saw that kind of coming.
Yeah,
like, just
yeah.
it's like, what are you gonna do?
It's kind of funny though. Those are the ones that stick with you forever. Like those ones that were, oh, I almost fucked that up, or I was in the corner on that one and I had to dig it out. And of course, nobody else knows. They just know it was a good run or it was a bad run distance wise, but they don't know that you're like, holy shit.
Ooh. Yeah, like pucker factor.
Yes,
like,
for sure. For
You
sure.
mean to do that? Yeah, absolutely.
So how was it ending up working as a coach and taking it now to the level that you're at, working with solutions?
So leaving Hawaii was like definitely something that I don't know, it was tough.
Yeah, how'd that come about?
So when I left Hawaii I've been here for like almost 2 years now. I went and like finally made a decision. I was like, I want to like, for being a videographer for so many years, like we don't teach AFF or like have coach ratings or anything. So I ended up like before I left, got like an AFF rating. Went to like a drop zone in Michigan for a little bit. Super cool. Midwest Free Fall, they're awesome. It's like beautiful little area, like perfect little grass runway, like awesome plane, like awesome people. Did like a little stint there for like this like the summer, and I was like, okay, like I think I need like more to like coach. Like I think like I want to like step up a little bit more. So I had like went to like a cis boogie and paraclete, and then like I was like, man, I've been coming back here for years. Like, and every time I went to XP, I was like super happy. I loved like the level of the people that were there and like aircraft, everything. And like Greg's awesome. Like I think Greg's the man.
Sure.
Everything about he's funny and all. And I was just like, man, I really want to like get into like contracts. I want to get into like progressing as like an instructor. And like the first year that I was here, like so finally I went up at Midwest Free Fall, went back to Hawaii just for like a stint, but like I had my eyes set. So then I ended up moving, and then I like an idiot, I came here in like January, and they're just like, yeah, dude, it's super slow. It's like we're a year-round drop zone, Robin, but like we're not Hawaii. And I was like, yeah, I messed up on that, but I was like, okay, it's slow. So the first bit was like kind of took a little bit of time to like get like acquainted with everything, and started like working at the school after I left Hawaii and all that. And then like I mentioned to Greg, I was like, hey, I'd be interested like kind of getting like onto Superior Flight Solutions and doing contracts and stuff like that. And so slowly but surely, like I started like getting a little bit of work at XP in general. But I think one of the first contracts that I had was actually pretty cool. That can't go into too much detail of it, but it was with the Princess of Thailand. So she came out, and so worked with her, and I was like, all right, rad first contract.
Yeah.
Worked with her, awesome. And then from there, I was just like trying to just like develop myself as like an instructor, like for teaching and coaching and like constantly reading and stuff. And then got into a little bit of contract work, and then Greg ended up like bringing on me and a dude named Andy Plisco on. So it was cool.
It's
really happy about that.
It's ridiculous the different people from all walks of life you meet because of skydiving.
Yeah, totally.
It's how many times have you been sitting with somebody and you're like, how in the fuck am I with this person? This is amazing. I just jump out of airplanes. How am I with this guy or that girl? It's incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of got into that with Greg. And then this last year was like kind of the first run of like doing courses and all that. So it's been great.
So, and you do military stuff as well.
Yep.
What's that like? You like it?
I love it.
They're fucking great, right?
It's great. Everything about working with military is great. Like And I kind of just laugh because like a few more like other groups, but like it's awesome. Like I love like the canopy portion of it, like doing hey-hos and stuff. And then I love
Sure.
the free fall portion with them. Like it's uniform. I love it. Like it's we're gonna go in like these conditions because they have to, or like it's just
Yep.
everything about it. Like I genuinely enjoy it. I think it's something I want to keep progressing, and everyone's been super cool.
That was always my favorite part about every once in a while we'd get a military guy or girl that would come out to do AFF or even just come out to do a tandem, and you just tell them what to do and they do it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
I was like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and they're like, okay, cool. And then I think, and also like, I think some of the funny portions about it is like when you tell them to do something, that it could just get super wild. Like it's either or. Like you're gonna get something perfect, or it's gonna be like, oh, dude, like it's gonna get hairy quick.
Yeah, there's got no doubt about that. But those guys and girls, they are so resilient, and they just and they always have a positive attitude, or at least they always show a positive attitude.
For sure. Everyone's been like great. Every single person that I've worked with over the last like year and a half has been awesome.
So what's the adjustment been like living in North Carolina from so many years in Hawaii?
It's different for sure. But I think I'm so used to just it being like, I mean, I like the cold. Like I like having a little bit of cold weather and like bundling up and stuff. But I think the only thing I don't like is when it's like overcast and cold.
Sure.
Like it doesn't really get like, I mean, it gets cold. Like today, I went flying this morning and it was 25 degrees.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, what am I doing right now? Like,
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I feel you. I mean, after a decade in Dubai, I live in Finland now, and like I'm sitting in my studio and it's 8 below Fahrenheit and there's a bit of a blizzard happening right now, and I fucking love it. But I'm also, I don't have to go to the airport. I don't have to do any of that stuff right now. So, but especially going from Hawaii, what an incredible change.
It's definitely a change. But honestly, like North Carolina weather is not bad.
Sure.
Like it's still like yesterday, like the other day it was like raining, and like everyone like north like of us was like -12.
Wow.
And it was like 40 degrees here and raining.
Wow.
It's not that bad.
No, well, and
we operate all year round, so
I've flown in and out of that field a couple of times, and it's a beautiful area. It's just gorgeous countryside. Yeah,
I do love the country.
It really is.
Where I lived in North Shore, like it was very country, so like where I'm at here in Rayford is nice.
Sure, it's funny all the places you never thought you'd go.
Good old Rayford.
Well, and it's funny because names like Rayford are such big names in skydiving, and nobody else knows where the fuck they are.
No,
nothing. So what do you think the future holds, both in the skydiving and just for you personally?
I think I'm gonna probably be here for a little while longer. Like, I feel like I have for like the short amount of time I've been here, I've accomplished more than like I ever thought I would. Like just like getting into like, I mean, there's a level of instruction, like flying, and then like I obviously like being with the US team and stuff. Like I think we have a lot of really great flyers here, like not even just like CP pilots, but like 8-way, 4-way, all these guys are like, and I do enjoy the level of competition that is here, and like they very much take care of their athletes, and it's awesome. So it's nice to be around that. And it was like what I think I've been wanting for a long time, and I definitely stay busy. So with like work, with the school, like competing, like, and then like traveling to like other drop zones for like other courses and stuff. So it's been
what do you think what's the competition side of things look like for your future?
I'll keep competing for a few more years for sure. I mean, it's funny because I keep saying like, oh, maybe I'll just do one more year. I'll do one more year. And then it's like, all right, it's been like, and then the other day, like a memory popped up of when I first came to Paraclete, and I was like, ooh, I've been doing this for a while. I think it's just because I just really enjoy the people I'm around, and it is fun. And I think every year I see like newer faces, and just kind of, I think it's nice. Like it's nice to be around. Like we have a funny crew that we all like to like joke around, and I think that's what keeps me like wanting to keep doing it, obviously, and like progressing. And like honestly, like the level of competitors just keeps like it increases every year. Like people are getting better and better. And it's cool. I like seeing it.
Well, you're also competing at a really interesting time in the sport technology wise, because
Yeah.
the gear just keeps getting better and better. I mean, between the mutant harness and the canopies that both
sure.
main manufacturers are putting out, these wings are fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, what do you fly for competition?
Petras.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What was that like the first time you got on a Petra? Because everybody, I see eyes light up all over the place when I start talking about that canopy.
Petra's great, man. I keep trying to tell everybody, it's like, dude, the Petra's awesome. And I was like, I'm not trying to like obviously like sponsored by Gyro and stuff like that. But like, dude, but I remember the first time I had like ever jumped a Petra, I was like, this thing is awesome. And I could take a terminal. And like I've obviously like lost Petras in the ocean because I was like working with them for so many years. And then finally I was like, dude, I can't keep spending money on Petras. Like it just got to, but in Hawaii, like we didn't have like gates or anything to do or like any like competition out there, like a swoop pond. So like we wanted to work with our Petras.
Sure.
But I just remember I gave up like 2019 when I got my pro card. We got our pro card in like the FLCPA or 2018, excuse me. And we were in Sebastian, and like everybody was just like, "Oh, cool, dude! You gotta like still do amateur, like be in the AM class, and then like you get like a medal or something." And I was like, "Dude, I'm just gonna go and fly my Petra, and I'm gonna take last place and be stoked.
Sure.
Like I don't care. I just want to go like have fun with my Petra. Like that's just how I felt. I was like,
how fucking heartbreaking was it to lose a Petra into the ocean?
oh, it's terrible.
I'm like trying to, I didn't hear anything you said after lost a Petra in the ocean. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Oh my God.
It's terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I lost one like back in like a field area on these palm trees. Like never to be seen, like could never find it. Like kind of had an idea where it was at, searched for days, got a drone out, never found it. And then I had another one where like it was kind of like an older Petra that I had. And it was just like everything, like from the moment I got out of the plane, just like nasty winds, chopped, and I just see it like yard sailing out to sea. And I was just like, well, I'll never see that again.
Oh no, we had a cutaway in Dubai, and I think it was on a Petra as well, because those things just don't deflate. And it was high winds coming from the water, and of course you've got nothing but high rises, half a mile, not even a half a mile, quarter mile away from the drop zone. And I'm just watching on the descent, I'm watching this Petra just going past the high rises. We've had canopies that they've had to pluck off balconies of high rises.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Craziness, because they don't deflate, they just keep going. This fucking hell. So. That's too awesome.
So it'll happen.
Any big competitions coming up?
Let's see what's coming up. I think now the start of the US CPA will be like beginning in March in Z Hills, but I mean, I'm basically training for nationals and the World Championships. So nice. That's coming up. I think we're going to South Africa.
Is that where the World Championships are this year?
Yeah, for canopy piloting. But the other World Championships for free fall will be in North Carolina.
So it's in your backyard.
Yeah, they're actually taking it like Skydive Chicago and Paraclete XP. They've like combined forces with like aircraft, and they're bringing it over to the coast. So it's going to be over like the Carolina coast. It's super pretty.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's Crystal Coast. Yeah,
I love hearing about the big drop zones that are collaborating. That seems to be happening more and more.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like it's like both of that, especially like the whole thing in Israel. Like they put the bid, but they wanted to like still emphasize like having like a beautiful place to go to, and like the Carolina coast is super pretty.
Yes.
And so this drop zone that they're going at, they're like, okay, like we need the aircraft, so Paraclete's going to supply, and so is Skydive Chicago. So it's like an FAI event. So yeah, it's gonna be super cool. It's
that's October, gonna be
I believe, or September.
That's gonna be a monster event.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too cool.
Yeah.
So I usually wrap up with asking people for advice to a couple of different groups of skydivers. For those that are just getting started in the sport and are trying to kind of find their way, what advice do you have? And for those that have been in it for a long time and are kind of thinking, I don't know if this is for me anymore, I'm feeling burned out or not inspired. What do you have to say for either of them?
Man, so I think the newer guys, like even with like students, are like, I get a lot of like people who are like, I want to only do your courses and do this. And I'm like, well, honestly, like get advice from everybody. And honestly, like get advice from like not just Superior Flight Solutions, but like Alter Ego and like flight one, all this stuff. Like, I think there's a wealth of knowledge out there, and there are people who are willing to like want to teach. And I think it's important to like seek all avenues and just like honestly ask questions. Like, I feel like there's a lot of students that like are like afraid of like asking questions about like certain things or feeling stupid. And it's like, dude, I know it's dumb, but just ask it. Like, I've probably asked the same question at some point, and I think you should just. And like, there's no, I mean, there's dumb questions for sure. Sometimes we're like, whatever.
Sure.
But I think it's important to like, and not only like that, like immerse yourself in like all the things that like, not just, okay, like I like canopies, but like look into like being a better flyer, like look into like maybe working in the sport or like getting ratings. Like, I think it's just like, it's important to constantly educate yourself in like all the different facets and not just like, okay, I want to do this and just only immerse myself. And I do think it's good to, obviously, if there's something that you do enjoy, then like obviously like take the time and learn it well. But
yes,
I think like always like be open to like different like I don't know, there's different disciplines out there, and just like talk to people.
It's kind of funny that you say you have people that come, oh, I only want to take your courses. I'm sure you get that just like a lot of skydiving instructors do. You'll tell some random person out in the general public, they ask what you do, you say you're a skydiver, and you have a conversation with them, and it always ends up with, I'll come out and jump, but I only want to jump with you. And I would always just think, but I could fucking suck, dude.
Yeah, dude, maybe I suck.
Yeah, man, you should probably do your research a little bit. Like, come out to my drop zone for sure, but leave your options open.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's important. I think there's so many, and especially like teaching style, like one person might have a different style than the next. And I think it's important to like ask questions and just like seek all sorts of different like help.
I think that's the biggest thing really is it can be an amazing instructor, but you just aren't on the same wavelength as that instructor. It's no ding against them. You just vibe better with another person. That's not a bad thing. You know,
I think it's cool.
So what about your tip for the old fuckers like me that might be getting burned out?
Oh man. I mean, dude, I was there. There was a point where like I was burnt out. It's like, I remember just like being kind of miserable with like flying video and stuff like that. And I think sometimes maybe a break is nice, like every once in a while. But I think also like the same thing, like, okay, like I've been flying canopies for so long. And so right now, and I feel like I was getting super burnt out. So I'm like, okay, I want to get better with instruction and all that. And then I was like, right now, my most frustrating thing is like flying in the tunnel. Like I like literally the only, when I first moved here, I had like 30 minutes maybe in a tunnel. And I have like 9,000 plus jumps.
Sure.
So when I work with people, I just like, I see the frustration. I'm just like, dude, I don't know anything other than just like being a videographer. Like that's how I've known, and I've flown canopies. So like for me, it was just like, okay, start like a new challenge. It was just like, okay, go to the tunnel, get frustrated. I was just like, get out of the tunnel and be like super pissed or something.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, another discipline to like get like immersed in, and like doing something like that I thought was like finally I was like, okay, I like perked up a little bit, was like pretty happy about it. I'm like, okay, like and like it really did make me feel like, okay, there's a renowned like feeling with this all again. It was pretty cool.
Sure. Something left to learn, right? I mean, never underestimate how much a high time skydiver can suck in the tunnel.
Dude, everyone's like, you want to go free fly? You want to fly on your head? And I was like, yeah, lucky for you.
Yeah.
You may think I'm good, but I can't fly on my head.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. It's like, and like I laugh about it all the time. It's just like, I mean, I can probably be okay for a little bit, but I'm like, I think you're thinking way too highly of me right now.
Yeah. You know, it was funny because I started out as an instructor in the old Vegas flyaway tunnel.
Ooh, I've been in that.
Yeah, many, many moons ago. But you and I know it's kind of just an amusement ride. It's a lot of fun, but it doesn't
big old
match.
Baggy suit and everything.
Yeah, you know, it was super fun. But I'll never forget. This was back in '97. I was still an instructor there. Maybe it was still '96. And the Flyboys came to the Vegas tunnel, and they were fucking horrible. And I think I had like 30 jumps, and I was their instructor in there, and they were just bouncing off the walls, and it was just a clusterfuck the whole time. And I was like, these were heroes, you know. I'd watch these guys in the Chronicles videos, and they were gods. And then I'm like, oh, okay.
You guys are kind of blowing it.
Yeah. And then cut to all those years later, I'm hopping in the Dubai tunnel trying to learn, and I sucked so bad. And I'm like, okay, well, that's me. There you go.
I think it happens. And I think another thing is just like being in the sport for so long, like I feel people get a little worried about like it's good to be humbled.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a huge thing. It's just like, whatever. Like I remember like hitting the pot a couple times and like skipping. I was like, oh man, oops.
Yep.
Just like kind of laughing about it. Like it happens. Like we all still like mess up. Like I'm not the greatest like person in the tunnel, but like I think it's like kind of staying humble in that, and then immersing yourself in like something like getting back in the tunnel or like getting into canopy piloting or whatever it is. Like I think it's just like keeping yourself like on your toes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think the most freeing moment for me in my entire career in skydiving was realizing I was never going to be the best in any discipline and just going, I'm just going to have fun, which was really a freeing thing to just go, I'm good enough to have fun and not get myself or anybody else killed. Let's go skydive.
Yeah. Let's go skydive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing, dude. Like, and I think that's what keeps me like wanting to even progress it. Like, obviously, like on the US team and stuff, like serious, we got to train a bunch, but like the day that I'm not having fun anymore is it's a problem.
For sure. So how do people track your progress with competitions? How do they come train with you? How do they come fly with you? How do they come just give you a high five? How do they track you down?
They track me down. They can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram, just Robin _Jandle. Like, and I'm very adamant of my students, like, hey, like send me a message on Facebook, like Robin Jandle. Like message me if you need help with anything, you want like any coaching. Like I'm always very open to like questions. And when I finish courses, I'm always just like, hey, like I know we've done this course and we're like going our separate ways and I'm leaving, but like always feel free if you have a question, just ask me. And like I'm always happy to help. So
and you do one-on-one courses as well as the stuff you're doing with Flight Solutions and all that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially like I'm in the school there. So if there's a student that's like, man, I need like help to like this weekend or with anything, like it's like, okay, like let's like take like a day and like go like do some pops and we'll try to fix what we can do.
Perfect. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Robin, I cannot tell you how glad I am we finally got to do this.
We finally did it.
It's fantastic. Like I told you pre-podcast, I was starting to think you were a made-up person, but it was really nice to sit and have a conversation with you.
I'm a robot. Catfished.
You're a very articulate robot.
Thank you.
It was a very good job. Really, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in the upcoming competitions and with your career.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
We'll chat again soon.
Bye.
Stay warm.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.